My name is Louis Navalier, and I'm a member of America's 1%. But today, I'm breaking ranks with
Okay, we're downloading A-Game's formula.
3, 2, 1. What's going on, world? DS1 Ross, and we back here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Shout out to everybody who support the platform, man. Much love. Salute to everybody that's tuned in right now. Salute to everybody that's tuned in right now. If you tuned in, make sure you hit the like button, man. Make sure you hit the like button. Hit the like button on the way in. Make sure you hit the like button on the way in. After you hit the like button, make sure you share this show. Make sure you share the show, man. It's very much appreciated. Those are the first two ways that you support your content creator, me, DS1. That's the first way you support me. You hit the like button, you share the show, man. After you do that, this is your first time here. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I drop some new content right here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Shout out to everybody, man. And last but definitely not least, make sure you financially support the show. Make sure you financially support the show. Hitting the like button, hitting the share button is free. That's free support for me. Those are the ways you freely support me. Hit the like button, hit the share button. You would like to financially support the show, CashApp $Sheep Stay Sleep TV is where you can go. CashApp $Sheep Stay Sleep TV is where you can go to financially support the show. You got any questions, any comments, put it through with your super chat, and I will acknowledge them. All other donation links will be in the chat room. All other donation links will be in the chat room. All other donation links will be in the chat room. Shout out to the masculine mercenaries, man. Shout out to the masculine mercenaries. Salute to the whole A-Game family. Salute to everybody who support me, DS1, and this platform. Sheep Stay Sleep TV, man. I appreciate y'all. And y'all see today's title, man. Why do you self-sabotage? Why do you self-sabotage? This is a very important question that need to be answered because a lot of us don't realize just how in control of our lives we really are in after we get a certain age, man. You know, a lot of us brothers, we suffer from arrested development. And when I say arrested development, meaning we are not mentally where we are physically. And when I say that, I'm meaning a lot of us are basically and honestly grown ass kids, to be honest. A lot of us is grown ass kids, man. And it is because we suffer from arrested development, man. A lot of us grew up around people and in an environment that didn't speak to the proper growth. It spoke to malnutrition. It spoke to arrested development. And I know a lot of us understand this process. You know, we understand what happened, but I don't think a lot of us understand the effects of it. And sometimes these effects can be self-inflicted wounds that we don't see, that we continue to perpetuate. And we continue to point the finger and point the blame at other people and situations that we were actually in control in, but we didn't understand that we were in control, or we just didn't take initiative and control the situation. You see? See, the reason why every man can't lead is because some men are afraid to. And some men are afraid to because some men are afraid to accept fault and accept blame. And I'm saying that because that is something that a lot of men do to self-sabotage. And there's a lot of guys like that here. I spoke about this in the upload I just premiered a few hours ago. You know, a lot of men continue to wallow in their failures and just things that happen to them in life because they almost want to live up to the stereotype of who black men really are. And this may sound kind of crazy, but a lot of guys don't see that this is what they're doing. And this is on both sides. This is with the so-called Pookies and Ray Rays and the so-called lame dudes. On both sides, we are perpetuating self-sabotage. You see? And this is what this conversation today that I'm going to have is the conversation that I really wanted to have with the guys who consider themselves educated lames. And this is why I always said that. And I told them myself, you know, I told Game Changing them dudes that y'all are not educated lames, that there's no such thing. See, a lot of us don't understand that unresolved trauma leads to self-sabotage. Let me repeat that. Unresolved trauma leads to self-sabotage. So let me give you an example. A guy like Obsidian was actually traumatized at the fact that he couldn't get a high school prom date. And this is not me cracking jokes. This is me being serious. I'm not cracking jokes, y'all. This is me being serious. And how we know that he was traumatized by that event is he still speaks about it. And you can tell that those types of situations that happened to him on more than one occasion begin to shape and mold how he look at himself. And see, how a man looks at himself is how he's going to come across and communicate to other people. You see? And especially to women. This is why you have to always constantly be working on yourself. But those events traumatized him. This is why he has a prickly attitude. This is why these dudes have the attitude that they have, and they take the stance that they take with women. This is a result of being rejected constantly. You know, rejection could be traumatizing for some people. And then to be rejected over and over, that can be traumatizing, man. And these guys develop these prickly personalities, which really draws women away from them. And then what they do is they stand on the fact that they're prickly assholes as their defense mechanism to women not treating them the way they feel that women should treat them. And they don't understand that their attitude is a form of self-sabotage. You see? This is why I say unresolved hurt equals self-sabotage, or it leads to self-sabotage. Because these guys don't realize that the attitude that they developed is keeping them away from getting what they want. It's their attitude, it's their approach, it's their appearance. They don't understand that they are self-sabotage. They're self-sabotaging themselves, and they're running around here still projecting it off on women. You see, a man who constantly self-sabotages is a man that constantly, over and over and over and over, wants to speak on the results or the effect or the effects of things and not speak on the causes. See, I need y'all to understand how important that is. I need y'all to understand how important that is, because the majority of the men in this space only speaks on the effects. They only speak on men dealing with the effects of a situation. The majority of the men in this space is not comfortable on having the candid conversation on the causes. They're always going to deflect from the causes. You see? They only want to talk about the effects. They don't want to talk about the cause. They don't want to talk about how men with our unresolved hurt, our unresolved trauma, continue to self-sabotage. We continue to get the results that we don't want because we don't see and understand how we getting there. And the first thing we doing is not recognizing that we traumatized. For a 50-something-year-old man to still be talking about not getting a prom date in high school, that's trauma. That is trauma. To claim yourself to be a non-select dating coach, that is you accepting that you are the kind of guy that is not picked by women, and you're trying to teach other guys that it's okay to be like this. That's trauma. That's traumatic. And by you labeling yourself this, you are wallowing and basking in your failures. This is self-sabotage. And we have to understand that this is a problem amongst men that we have to recognize. It's no reason why you should be on here complaining about child support, but all three of your baby mamas are strags. How dare you? How dare you? You are your own problem. These are called self-inflicted wounds. This is why you see my motto on your screen. Heal before we build. So before you went and built another family with another female, you haven't even healed from what you just dealt with your first baby mother. And all of the ramifications that come with you dealing with that family. So while you going through the BS with her, you go and find a whole nother hyena to lay up with. And you started a baby pride with her. And then you come on here and talk about, oh, she put me on child support and she don't care about me. And these women don't care about us. You ain't care about your goddamn self. You did the same goddamn thing 3 times in a row. And we supposed to feel sorry for you as men? We supposed to feel sorry for you? It's not our fault You like Project Box. And see, what a lot of you lames like to do is y'all like to say, oh, well, it's Big Booty Brenda is in the projects with Pookie and Ray Ray. No, because we also understand that it's dudes like you, lame, that grew up in the hood too. You just didn't come outside. You had to live your life from the window because your mother didn't want you to come outside, because if you got pushed on the ground and got a cut on you and you start crying, she gonna be ready to call the goddamn task force to blow up the projects because her son fell on the ground and scraped his knee. So you couldn't come outside. So that doesn't mean because you wasn't outside and was able to be active with Pookie and Ray Ray. Because see, the reason why you call us Pookies and Ray Rays, because we was able to be outside playing and having fun and could go to the store and don't get beat up and don't get our money took. You know, you weren't allowed to do that. So y'all found a way to make yourself feel better, because when you was sitting in the house, you was mad. So you came up with this term, oh, that's Pookie and Ray Ray. But that don't mean you didn't like Big Booty Brenda. That don't mean you didn't like Sharkeisha. See, because just because these girls grew up in the hood, that don't mean that they don't look good. Project chicks are fine as hell. I'm from New York City. None of you could tell me otherwise. If you from the East Coast, project chicks are some of the baddest chicks in your city. That's a fact. You got dime pieces walking out of project buildings in New York City. Dime pieces, boy. Dime pieces. Where you think Alicia Keys come from? Right from the projects in Harlem. Where you think Tiana Taylor come from? Right from the projects in Harlem. Where you think they come from? See? So a lot of you dudes, a lot of you lames got caught up with hood chicks too. And you come on here and try to make yourself feel better. But all you did was self-sabotage your whole life. That's all you did. And you don't want to admit that. You don't want to admit that. But see, in order for things to actually change for us as men, we have to sit down and have the real conversation as men. See, I'm not cool with sitting down and you know, lollygagging like women with dudes. I don't do that. I like to sit down and have some type of constructive conversation. It's gonna be a little fluff in there. You know, we gonna slide some chicks in there. We're gonna slide some sports in there. You know, we're gonna slide that in there. But the basis of the conversation, it gotta be constructive. And a lot of you dudes don't want to talk about the causes of most of y'all life's problems that y'all get on here and talk about. You don't. The majority of you dudes on here are victims of your own decisions that you are still not willing to admit. But you know when you get off these panels and you're faced with dealing with 2, 3, 4, 5 baby mothers, you're not using Black manosphere talking points to your baby mother. See? So when you get on here and talk about it, you're self-sabotaging, bruh. You're actually putting yourself in a deeper state of depression because you know that this is not your life. This is not your life. When you getting up here talking all of this fly stuff, but then your baby mama's got you by your balls. See, this is something that need to stop amongst men, because this is the stuff that leads to suicide. Because you're using the rhetoric that you're hearing here to pump yourself up with more and more air. See? That's what you're doing. And you know that you're not getting anything from it. You know that. Y'all dudes know that. Y'all dudes know y'all getting up here theorizing over and over and over about what Black women ain't doing. Y'all know that none of that shit is serving y'all men in real time. None of it. This is why I've been going so hard on the brothers about moving past that shit. This is why I've been leading the charge on it. And I'm going to continue to lead the charge. And any other content creators that wanna follow, you can. Because we need more brothers in this space telling brothers it's time to move the goddamn conversation forward. Because we are self-sabotaging our movement, fellas. We are self-sabotage. We already gave up the goddamn space. Self-sabotage. You dudes wanted the attention of women so bad that y'all was willing to let them come in platform by platform. Now they not going no goddamn where. Self-sabotage. Everything that y'all said y'all didn't want to happen in this space is happening. Self-sabotage, man. This is a real thing. This is a real thing. And we continue to do it. And ignore it as if it's not going on. But every day, when you sit on panels with dudes who continue to talk about what Black women ain't doing, what Black women should be doing, what type of women we should be with, what type of women we shouldn't be with. You know what that's telling? You know what you're telling yourself? You're telling yourself what you're deprived of. You men are desperate for women. You men are desperate for women in this space. Y'all are desperate. Yeah, I said it. Because every day you keep conjuring women up. You dudes, I hear you dudes even call women to get on panels now. This is desperate. This is thirst. Why? So at some point in the conversation, she could say some disrespectful shit. Right? so you could try to assert your masculinity on her over the computer. And y'all dudes are conjuring this shit up over and over. Y'all do it every day. This is self-sabotage. Because after she started saying you ain't shit and black men are broke and they don't protect their women and y'all don't rule shit and all that, that shit hurt your ego. It hurts you. And then how you respond is you respond with all of the gynocratic rhetoric to try to make yourself feel better. And then after it's over, you sitting there with a wet ass, mad, and she's sitting there laughing. And guess whose fault that is? Y'all blame the gynocracy and white supremacy for that shit. When it was your goddamn fault because you called the goddamn girl up there. You the one that kept calling her goddamn name. Come up here. Come up here. Come up here. Then when she get up there and start showing her little funky ass, now you mad. Now kick her off the panel. This is a man's space. Kick her off the panel. Self-sabotage, bro. Now you in your feelings. That's self-sabotage. You did it to yourself. Why was you even calling that girl? That girl wanted to sit in the clouds and listen to men talk nigga shit. That's what she wanted to do. But your thirsty ass, a glutton for punishment, this is what occurs when you don't patch up certain holes, when you don't deal with certain traumas. You dudes are gluttons for punishment. This is why I did the stream, Dark Fantasies in the Black Manosphere, where I spoke on how a lot of these dudes like BDSM. Y'all think because, I add satire to it, that is jokes. No, I'm telling the truth because I see this with my assessment. I've been assessed this space. These dudes are gluttons for punishment. This is why these dudes are into BDSM. Because they're gluttons for punishment. You can see it. Come up here. Come up here. Did she come up there? She be nice for a little while. She start chilling. Shout out to Hills Zen. Appreciate you, family. That's how they start. They start out, they be cool. They be cool. Then once they get their little drink in them, they start playing around. They start talking, they start talking, they talk. And then you dudes get mad and get mad at the content creator who let her up there, but y'all done told the dude to bring her up there. This is self-sabotage, brothers. This has to stop. A lot of you dudes don't see this. This is why you must establish SOS in your life, fellas. This is why the 10 life value system that was created by my brother father's time. Salute to him. This is why SOS is important. And it starts with a system. Because see, self-sabotage lies in the value of spiritual value, dealing with self. Dealing with how you feel about yourself. And we're going to get into that more tomorrow, and the importance of that and how that supersedes other things. But see, we continue to self-sabotage because we don't love ourselves enough. And we don't love ourselves enough because we don't see in what areas we're lacking in. See, this is where the 10 life value system comes in, where you can take your life and assess it through each value. You can assess your life. If you're frustrated with yourself, if you're always looking at yourself as a failure, never thought you were good enough, you never felt worthy of nothing. Never felt worthy of nothing. This is a spiritual thing that you have to deal with. This is called spiritual affliction. You're being afflicted. This is why y'all always hear me say the war is spiritual, brothers. See, the biggest war we got to fight is within us, brothers. It's not outside. See, outside going to change for us when inside change for us. Why you think these little chicks around here hang around and hover around the guys that they hover around? Because they know that that's who they could play with. And it's nothing of aggression with them, or it's not like they're scared of us. It's a level of respect. They know that they're here to play around and to, BS. So they go around where that's allowed. See, you guys don't even see that's a sign of submission right there. That's a sign of submission right there. And see, you dudes won't be able to see that from these same chicks that y'all call disrespectful. But that's because y'all don't have no SOS. These women don't see that you're not operating off a value system, or they see the value system that you operating off of is actually the same value system that they play in. You see, they play where you like to play. Y'all play in the same realm. That's how y'all always meet up. Y'all play in the same realm. She know you like the shit that she do. That's why she do it. This is self-sabotage, brothers. It ain't her fault that she up there making fun of you. You gave her leeway to do so. This is self-sabotage. A lot of you dudes are suckers in relationships because you allow yourself to be led by the puss. It's just so good you allow her to operate and treat you any kind of way. This is something you have to accept, men, and it's something you have to be able to admit. See, because that's the only way you're going to heal. You have to admit that shit. Like I was a sucker because she had a big old booty. She had some good old coochie, and I didn't know what to do. She was the only chick I had on the roster at that time. I didn't want the fun to stop. So I was a sucker. See, you dudes won't admit that. But that's how most of you dudes got locked in with trash baby mamas. Most of y'all baby mamas came from you just smashing. Y'all never had no relationship. That's why y'all got problems too. That's why now you finding out who she really is, because you was just smashing. And you self-sabotaged yourself, because what you did was you were shooting up inside of a demon and then had a baby and then wondering why she on demon time. See, demons love sex. They love that energy. This is why the only time y'all cool is when that's going on. But you have to understand that the reason why she's cool is because you're operating in her realm. You're feeding her. And she's taking from you. See, you got to understand this, brothers. She's taking from you, and you're willingly giving it to her. This is why it's called self-sabotage. You know you're not supposed to keep dealing with this girl. You know she's hell on earth. You know this. But you keep going back. Self-sabotage. And I'm about to keep it all the way 1,000. And y'all could sound off in the chat room and tell me if I'm right or if I'm wrong. A lot of us dudes get caught up with the wrong women in the wrong situations because we be on drugs, we be drinking, or we be trying to smash something. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. This is why most dudes end up making some of the worst mistakes they ever made in their life. It be because you was drinking, you was on some type of drug, you was high, or you was on the vagina hunt. Now, most of the time when you on a vagina hunt, you high and drunk anyway, or you're either high or drunk. But let's get to addiction and what addiction stems from. Addiction is a health issue. So that plays to the health value. But addiction stems from what? Trauma. Spiritual affliction. So you attracted that demon because your spirit was vulnerable and was actually magnetic to it. See, y'all don't want to hear that type of shit. Y'all don't want to hear that. Shout out to Cool Rob. He says, salute DS1. Wood for the fire. Appreciate you, fam. Shout out to my man New, man. Shout out for becoming a member. I appreciate you. See, y'all don't want to admit that. Y'all are afraid to talk about that. Bro, you was vulnerable, bro. You was going through some shit at that time in your life, and homegirl was running around, coming through. She was bringing you food. She was topping you off. You was vulnerable. Admit it. If you don't, you will self-sabotage. You'll get her. See how you got her and didn't know? The next one, you're going to pick the same one. You're going to pick her this time. And you're going to pick her willingly. But you're not going to know. See, my job is to get brothers to understand the causes. We talked about the effects. What about the cause? See, if you don't speak on the cause or understand the cause, you can't heal. See, this is why when I first came around here, and you know, a little while ago last year, people was going against the whole healing thing. Because when you speak on that, you have to speak on the causes. See, this is why a lot of women don't want to hear that healing shit. See, when they hit when the gynocrats talk about healing, they talk about fixing their credit, buying Benzes, and dressing up their failures. See, this is why when DS1 spoke on healing, it was never gynocratically based. Because when the gynocrats speak of healing, they speak on taking the money from dead black men and buying real estate. That's what they mean when it come to healing. They talk about going to the goddamn spa and getting a new hairstyle and going to Dr. Curves and getting all them bags of Doritos snuffed out their stomachs. That's what they're talking about when they talk about healing. When DS1 speak about healing, he's speaking on men speaking on the causes, their personal causes, not the system. We ain't talking about the system. We talking about your traumas, how the causes of your personal trauma. See? And see, the way that we can assess this is by using the 10 life values, especially those internal 5. Especially with those internal 5. See, because like I always say, and I'm going to continue to say, those internal 5, spiritual value, health value, family value, appearance value, and dwelling value, that is where a man is made and where a man is broken. I need y'all to really grasp that. If you got a paper and a pen, write it down. The internal 5 of the 10 life values is where a man is made and where a man is broken. Write that down. I need y'all to remember that, because today we're speaking on self-sabotage, self-care, self-love. Why we don't love ourselves. It's not just because the system tells us not to. because the system is a reflection of what? Values. You see? This system that we call white supremacy has a set of values that the system is built upon. You see? So if you address your spiritual value, you will understand how we're self-sabotaging ourselves by picking the women we pick, by hanging in the places we choose to hang out, by hanging around the people we choose to hang around, by living in the areas we choose to live. These are the ways we self-sabotage. Where we choose to spend our money, who we choose to spend our money with. See, you can't say you're black first, but every time you look for something to goddamn eat, you don't look for a black restaurant first, at least. And I'm not telling people where to spend their money. It's just about standing on what you say you about. Because you can't complain about black people not having nothing, but you don't support nothing black. Every time you hungry, you go see the goddamn Asians. Every time you goddamn hungry, you go see the Colonel. Every time you want to go put something on your back, you go see Tommy Hilfiger. How you going to talk about black clothing brands not being good enough when you don't put enough money into it so it can get better? See, that's self-sabotage. That's self-sabotage. Man, I don't really be liking these black clothing lines. Please. There's plenty of fly shit out here. You don't look for it. You'd rather go to TommyHilfiger.com because that's the shit that pop up on your Facebook page. You little robot. Self-sabotage. See, the system is gonna dictate to us to self-sabotage because that's what the values is based on. Because this is how they eat, off of people who self-sabotage. They eat off the pain of people who are spiritually afflicted, mentally ill. This is how this system continues to thrive. So as men, we can't continue to put ourselves in predicaments for us to suffer from the goddamn system. We have to employ our own. We have to employ our own values. We have to employ our own value system. And from that, there will be order. Because see, there's no order in the system in which we live in, because order is not in their values. Because these are men who have no integrity. These are men who have no honor. These are savages. So this is why we live in chaos. This is why we live in filth. This is why we live in disarray. Because the men who built this system, that's what they value. They value chaos. Because that's what they make their money in. That's how they make their money. Through mayhem. Through dis-ease. through the dis-ease of the people. So why you keep making yourself uncomfortable sitting around these busted babies? Hmm? Why do you continue to feed the psychology in which fuels this system of chaos? You know how you do that? When you sit up here on these panels and waste precious time talking about the same shit you already knew. And we all know. See, that's self-sabotage. Because you know when you get off the goddamn panel, all that shit you said, nothing changed for you. Nothing has changed for you. So how could you convince a younger brother that something will be different for him? This is self-sabotage. And the young men watch us do it, so that's why they do it. We watch the older dudes make it cool to smoke weed. We smoked weed. It was cool. Before we was smoking weed, we was smoking leaves in paper bags. These are facts. Me and my homies used to go in the back of the building after we used to play basketball and roll up leaves and smoke them in paper bags when we was young. This was early 90s. Because this is what we watch the cool guys do. They was smoking reefer. That's when it was called reefer. Wasn't even called weed. It was called reefer. See, now I understand that they was doing that shit because that was their way of coping. That was their way of coping. And a lot of them, that was their way of self-sabotaging and loafing and basking in what they never had a chance to do. So they felt like if they just stay high and stuck, it'll make them feel better of them not being able to accomplish what they wanted to in life. This is self-sabotage. This is what we got to get out of. And one of the main ways we self-sabotage in this space is through giving the validation to these women. Let me repeat that. One of the main ways we self-sabotage in this space is by giving these women validation. That is most of the guys in this space problem in real life. It is women. This is why they talk about women all the time, because they self-sabotage with women in real life. They did the same shit that they do on these panels. They did it in their real life. And being that these women can't directly affect them like the women did in their real life, it makes them feel better talking the stuff that they talking to them on the panel. It makes them feel good. It makes them feel like they're getting some get back. But what changed in your life? You saying all that shit, what did it change? Did you stop picking those women? Or do you got 2, 3, 4, 5 of them as your baby mama? And you're on here just talking shit because you want to sound cute, but you never did nothing about it. This is self-sabotage. And the reason why I got Corey Holcomb as the thumbnail is because that's what he did to his career. I checked out a little bit of this week's 5150 show. This is the first time I ain't watched that shit in months. But this dude is not even in the same place anymore. So now the show looks even crazier. It looked like he's in a smaller storage space. It just looks crazy. I'm like, damn, Corey's going down. He's going down. He's an example of self-sabotage. He sabotaged everything, every situation. All his relationships he squandered with people. Self-sabotage, man. And it is because there's things that happened to Corey when he was young. He thought he could alpha his way through that shit. I'm an alpha man. What? I'm gonna make it happen. Ha, 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 ha. People who think they're gonna live their life like that are crash dummies, man. When you hit the wall, you're gonna hit the wall hard. And your ass might explode, just like the crash dummy commercial. Nah, man, you gotta heal. Or you'll see men continue to crumble right in front of us, like Corey. Corey's crumbling, man. He's crumbling. Without the 5150 show, who knows Corey Holcomb at this point? The reason why he gets booked to do the comedy clubs is because of the 5150 show. And every once in a while, he get involved in a little goofy scandal to keep his name hot. But all that does is translate into views for the 5150 show. That's all it does. And that shit is crumbling. Self-sabotage, man. He talked about all of these people in the industry. So now that he's losing a lot of traction, nobody don't want to help him. Nobody's not going to offer him any help. And then he can't go to anybody because he done talked about them all. And if he didn't talk about that person he going to, a person he talked about might be that person's friend. He's assed out. Self-sabotage. Self-sabotage, man. This has to stop, man. This has to stop, fellas. We got to heal before we build, man. We got to heal, man. We got to stop ignoring this quote. Because the more and more we ignore it, the shit gonna come back around and smack you in your face. Every time. Every time. This space is no longer a male space. Why? It is not male dominated. Why? We self-sabotaged. We gave it up. Why? It won't heal. Can't stop talking about women. Why? It won't heal. You ain't got to build nothing for no woman that don't want to respect you. You don't have to. So why keep talking about it? You keep talking about it because you grew up in a gynocracy where your mama told you you had to build with ain't shit women. But you got to heal from that, brother, so you can stop dealing with it. So you can stop dealing with the feelings from it. Y'all up here saying what y'all don't have to do, but we know y'all doing it because y'all Jonathans. Y'all are trying to shame women by saying, I don't got to do that for you. Just don't do it. But a lot of y'all are still doing it. That's why y'all up here talking about it. That's why y'all up here talking about it, because y'all still doing it. Self-sabotage. You can't ask for a woman to respect you after you gave her full reason to disrespect you. Perfect example with homie telling homegirl she could spit in his mouth. Now, if you tell a woman she could spit in your goddamn mouth, she don't never have to respect you a day in her life. Because she'll always remember how you like to be spit on. Why do you have to respect anyone who likes to be spit on? And then when she started getting crazy out her mouth, now it's like, oh, she getting crazy now. Now she getting disrespectful. No, she not. You opened the door. You opened the door for disrespect. Matter of fact, you ain't opened the door. You opened your goddamn mouth. You opened your mouth. You opened your mouth and she inserted disrespect into it. Self-sabotage, man. That's the lesson for today, man. Y'all get down in the comment section and y'all answer that, man. Why do you self-sabotage? Or why do men self-sabotage? Why do we self-sabotage? Y'all get down in the description, well, in the comment section. Y'all let me know. Shout out to everybody in the building. If you're tuned in right now, make sure you hit the like button. You enjoyed the show, CashApp $SHEEPSTAYSLEEPTV is where you can go. CashApp $SHEEPSTAYSLEEPTV is where you can go to financially support the show. You enjoy the content, financially support the content, man. All other donation links is in the chat room. Shout out to everybody who has donated. If you have, I appreciate it. If you hit the super chat, I appreciate that too. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure y'all hit the share button. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. And as y'all know, this episode of Sheep Stay Sleep TV has been sponsored by A-Game. A-Game, a herbal male solution. A herbal male solution. Y'all get down in the description box. Get your A-Game, fellas. Get on this A-Game lifestyle, man. This is a lifestyle. This is a lifestyle for optimal health for us men. This is a solution that's also being provided by my brother Father's Time. Shout out to him. This is a product that came from the 10 life values. Health being number 2. The second most important value in a man's life should be his health. So fellas, jump on this A-Game lifestyle, man. Hit the link in the description box. At your checkout, type in promo code SHEEP and the number 10. That's SHEEP and the number 10 to get a discount off on your purchase. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. But before we go, I want to shout out the Masculine Mercenaries. I want to shout out everybody once again for tuning into today's show. DS1 Ross, and I'm out. Peace.
We're A-Game, a 100% Black-owned company
with an all-natural product and world-class customer service. We're headquartered in California, and we manufacture, package, and ship right here in the United States. We ship to more than 125 distributors worldwide. Normal processing is 2 to 3 days, and we employ virtual tracking until our product is received. So, no matter where you are in the world, here we come, and we're bringing your A game.